There is a moment most people remember from childhood. A summer evening, the sky not quite dark yet. That deep blue hour between sunset and night. And then, one by one, small lights begin to appear in the grass. Cold, green gold, blinking slowly at first. Then more of them, rising from the lawn, drifting between the trees, turning an ordinary backyard into something that felt for a few weeks every summer, like a place where magic was genuinely possible. If you still see that in your yard today, I need you to understand something. You are not just lucky. Your yard is doing something that most yards in America can no longer do. And the fireflies appearing in your grass every summer evening are not just a beautiful sight. They are a signal, a quiet, blinking message about the health of the ground beneath your feet, the quality of the soil in your garden beds, and the choices you have made, consciously or not, that have kept something rare and fragile alive in your corner of the world. Today, we need to talk about what fireflies are actually telling you. And by the end of this, I think you will never watch them the same way again. Most people sense it without being able to name it. The summers feel quieter now. The lawn at dusk looks darker than it used to. The jars children carried through backyards on July evenings, full of blinking green light, have mostly disappeared, and they are not imagining it. Firefly populations across North America and around the world have been declining for decades. Researchers studying firefly abundance have documented significant drops in population density across suburban and semi-rural areas. Light pollution, habitat loss, pesticide use, and changes in land management have all been identified as contributing factors. In some regions, species that were once common enough to be taken for granted are now considered at risk. What makes this decline particularly alarming is how invisible it is. Fireflies do not make headlines the way bees do. They are not studied with the same urgency as monarch butterflies. They disappear slowly, a few less each summer, until one year you realize the yard is simply dark and you cannot remember exactly when that happened. But in some yards, they are still there. Maybe yours. The first thing most people get wrong about fireflies is in the name. A firefly is not a fly. It is a beetle. A soft-bodied, slow-moving beetle belonging to the family Lampyridae, a family with over 2,000 known species distributed across every continent except Antarctica. What makes them remarkable, what makes that light possible, is one of the most elegant chemical reactions in the natural world. Inside the firefly's abdomen is a light-producing organ called a lantern. Within it, a molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen in the presence of an enzyme called luciferase and a molecule called ATP. The result is a cold light, almost no heat, nearly 100% efficient in its energy conversion. No incandescent bulb, no LED, no human technology has ever matched the efficiency of the firefly's light. Scientists studying bioluminescence have used the luciferase enzyme as a research tool in laboratories for decades, tagging cells and molecules to track them in real time, because the light it produces is that clean and that precise. But here's what almost no one knows about the firefly you are watching blink across your lawn. That adult, that glowing, floating, beautiful insect, has spent almost its entire life underground. And down there, it was anything but gentle. Before a firefly ever blinks, before it ever flies, it spends between 1 and 2 years as a larva living in the soil of your garden. These larvae are called glowworms, and they glow faintly too, though most people never see them. They live in moist, loose soil, under leaf litter, along the damp margins of garden beds, and they are, by every measure, ferocious predators. Firefly larvae hunt snails, slugs, and earthworm larvae. They track their prey through the soil using chemical cues, and when they locate a target, they inject it with a paralytic fluid that both immobilizes the prey and begins to digest it externally. They are precise, they are patient, and they require specific conditions to survive. Moist soil, loose leaf litter, ground cover that holds humidity, minimal chemical disturbance. This is the secret your yard is keeping. If you have fireflies appearing above your lawn at night, it means the ground beneath your feet has been hospitable to their larvae for at least 1 to 2 full years. It means your soil has the moisture retention, the organic content, the microbial life, and the relative freedom from chemical disruption that firefly larvae need to complete their development. The blinking light above your garden is evidence of what is right about what is beneath it. Now let's talk about the light itself, because the flash you are watching is not random. It is language. Every firefly species has its own flash pattern, a specific duration of light, a specific interval between pulses, sometimes a specific color ranging from yellow-green to orange, that is unique to that species and used for one purpose: finding a mate. The male flies and flashes his species-specific signal. The female, perched in the grass or on a low branch, watches. If she recognizes the signal as her own species, she responds with her own flash at a precise time delay. The male sees the reply, adjusts his flight path, and the exchange continues until they locate each other. It is a conversation happening in light, in your yard, in a code that has been refined over millions of years, and you are watching it every time you see a firefly blink. But this is where the story takes a darker turn, because not every flash in the dark is what it appears to be. There is a genus of firefly called Photuris. The females of several Photuris species have developed one of the most disturbing predatory strategies in the insect world. They have learned to mimic the flash response of other firefly species. A Photuris female will watch the exchange between a male of a different species and his potential mate. She learns the timing, she learns the interval, and then she begins to respond to that male's signal with the exact flash pattern he is looking for, the one that tells him he has found a mate. When he lands near her, she eats him. This predatory mimicry has been documented across multiple Photuris species and represents one of the rare examples of a wild animal using learned deception to hunt. The firefly that appears to be responding to a mate is in some cases running a trap, and the light you are watching from your porch, that quiet summer spectacle, is in part a battlefield. There is one more thing the Photuris firefly does that researchers only discovered recently. When it consumes the males of other species, it absorbs chemical compounds from their bodies, specifically lucibufagins, defensive steroids that the prey species produces and that make them toxic to spiders and birds. The Photuris female, which cannot produce these compounds herself, acquires them through predation and becomes chemically protected herself. She is not just hunting, she is stealing an immune system. If fireflies are still appearing in your garden, here's what that tells you about the choices you have made, whether you made them deliberately or not. Your soil holds moisture. Your lawn or garden beds have enough organic material, leaf litter, and ground-level cover for larvae to survive through 2 winters. You have not saturated the ground with broad-spectrum pesticides, which kill the soil invertebrates firefly larvae depend on, and which kill firefly larvae directly. You have areas of your yard that are not perfectly manicured, where the grass grows a little longer, where fallen leaves are left to break down, where the ground is not sealed under weed fabric or stone. If you want to protect what you have, there are simple things that matter. Leave areas of your yard unlit at night. Outdoor lighting, even porch lights and garden path lights, disrupts the flash communication fireflies depend on for mating. Reduce or eliminate pesticide use in garden beds. Allow leaf litter to accumulate along fence lines and garden borders. Let patches of longer grass remain unmowed through summer. These are not difficult changes. They are mostly things you stop doing, rather than things you start. The fireflies in your yard did not choose randomly. They are there because the conditions your yard offers made it possible for them to survive, year after year, underground and invisible, until the temperature rose and the evenings lengthened and they emerged to do the one thing their adult lives are built around. You may have kept them alive without ever knowing it, by mowing less, by composting, by leaving a corner of the garden a little wild, by not reaching for the spray bottle every time something appeared in the soil. The light appearing in your yard every summer evening is not just beautiful. It is a report, a living measurement of what your garden has quietly become. The next time you watch fireflies rise from your lawn at dusk, do not just enjoy the view. Understand what you are seeing. An ancient chemical language, a predator that spent 2 years in your soil, a beetle that evolved its light not to please you, but that has ended up in some way that feels almost deliberate, doing exactly that. Do you still have fireflies in your yard? Tell me in the comments, and tell me where you are. I want to know where they are still holding on. And if you want to understand another creature that uses your yard as a stage for something far stranger than it appears, the next video is already waiting for you.